Who remembers why Joe Biden ran for president? The reason he said he was running. It wasn't about helping people. It wasn't about any particular policy. It was all must stop Trump. Remember?
I wrote at the time that we're in the battle for the soul of this nation. Oh, that's even more true today. We are in the battle for the soul of this nation.
Trump gets reelected, it will fundamentally alter America forever, and we just be lost, right? Now, that was his mission back. What's his mission now? What is the mantra of the Biden campaign? Nothing was illegal. We did nothing illegal. They did all kinds of things that were unethical, that crossed all kinds of lines. But when you go through the deposition, as I've been going through, of Hunter and his brother James, that's what they keep coming to. Nothing illegal, but everything crummy, like showing up with a bunch of shady guys from Kazakhstan at Cafe Milano, pretending it's about the World Food Program, but it's really about business, all right? It's really about how to get Hunter a Porsche. Let's see here, the deposition of Hunter. So what do we have? What do we have? We have a lot. It's not easily digestible, but I'll tell you what, if this were about Donald Trump, if this were about Donald Trump Jr. or Eric Trump, there would be specials, wall-to-wall, news alerts, everything for weeks, It's Hunter, it's a Democrat. They want it to be over. It's not dying here, all right? This stuff is incredibly important and must be aired. They wasted 2 years of our time on Russia, the Russia hoax, and they're just going to blow off this deposition where he says all kinds of incredibly incriminating. And if he doesn't go to jail for this, fine. If Joe Biden doesn't go to jail for this, okay. But politically, this is a huge problem. Mr. Gates, one of our favorites, has a few questions about where Hunter went while his dad was vice president. Did you know that Hunter went to the Chinese embassy for meetings about his company? Mr. Biden, did you ever have a meeting with your investment fund at the Chinese embassy in Washington, by the way? Hunter, no, I did not have a meeting with my investment fund at the Chinese embassy. That I remember. I know there was I met the ambassador, the Chinese ambassador. I can't remember exactly. Do you have a document you want to show me? Here we go again. Everything, you got to drag it out of Hunter. It's a game that he and his lawyers play. Mr. Gates, no, I just have a question for you. I just answered it. Okay, Mr. Gates, he's great. Do you recall a meeting April 28th at the Chinese embassy? The lawyer, what year? Gates, in 2011. Hunter, no, I don't recall off the top of my head, but I had no investment fund in 2011. Mr. Gates, so this purports to be an email from Marvin Lang to you. Hunter, this is to confirm the DCM, Minister Deng, pronounced Dung, asked through a call that I received from Mr. Tao for you to come to the Chinese embassy to meet with Minister Dung for a half an hour on Thursday, April 28th at 5:40 p.m. before our dinner. Does that refresh your recollection? Hunter, yes, I know exactly what this is about. How about that? Mr. Gates, okay, what was the nature of that 30-minute meeting that you had with the ambassador, the Chinese ambassador to America, by the way, one more time? Hunter, well, I go back to my LLCs. One of the businesses that I had was an investment advisory firm that was licensed with the SEC and which was operated by a woman named Arlene Bush, who had 35 years of experience and blah, blah, blah. And Eric Sherwin is the president of the company. I was the majority equity holder in the company. And what we did is we advised large institutional alternative investment funds on that were seeking capital. And Mr. Lang, Marvin Lang, a pretty world-renowned hedge fund operator, private equity, realty private equity investor that has billions of dollars under management. And he was going at the time, like many other people in the world, wanted to create a contract with potential investors inside of China. And okay, hold on a second, just hold on. This guy, Mr. Marvin Lang, why is Hunter the point person on this? And they ask him this. He's like, well, I went to Yale and I worked at Amtrak. How did he get the job at Amtrak? Nobody cares that you went to Yale. It's who your father is, period. And he refuses to accept that. Let's see, going on. Counsel, did you provide this document in advance? Where is it from? I have no idea. You have no idea. Okay, I have no idea either. Keep going. Down to Mr. Gates. So it was a business meeting at the Chinese embassy to raise funds for a business venture while your father was vice president, right? The lawyer, that is not what he... Hunter, no, that's not at all what I said. I said that with Mr. Lang, I had an operating business, which was an alternative investment advisory firm that was operated under the SEC, and Eric Sherwin, who was licensed with the Series 7, and Arlene Bush, blah, 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 blah. Mr. Gates, Chinese investors, right, or American investors? You see, they put a gloss of propriety on all of this stuff. American investors globally, and that time, if you remember, China was looking for this kind of investment. This stinks. The sitting vice president's son is hanging around the Chinese embassy looking for investment. Have you heard that anywhere else? No one's reading the damn thing because the New York Times is not covering it. And if the New York Times doesn't cover it, it must not be news. I'm not done yet. I'm sorry. I know it gets a little bit tedious, but this is important. There was a lunch post-vice presidency where it looks like Joe Biden wanted to meet Hunter's Chinese boss from China. Fine to be Chinese, fine to be Irish, it doesn't matter. But these are Chinese citizens, communists, who are very rich. Question. It's a message between you and Kevin Dong. Who is Kevin Dong? Kevin Dong was ultimately ended up becoming, he was Mr. Yi's representative in the United States and was part of the Hudson West 3 group. Okay, yeah, continue. This is August 27, 2017. You write, I will pick you up at 12 o'clock p.m. in the lobby of your hotel. The luncheon will start at 12:30 p.m. All right, that's all fair and good. Next, please. Where is the luncheon, Kevin? My uncle will be here with his brother. Brother is all in caps, who would like to say hello to the chairman. He is here to visit my daughter. See how they have a cover story? All right, he puts the word brother all in caps to his Chinese counterpart. Can we see what that would look like in text message form? Where is the luncheon, Kevin? My uncle will be here with his brother in all caps. We all know that Hunter's uncle, he can't say father. Why isn't he saying father? It's a game. Brother, you get it? The former vice president of the United States is showing up. Next, please. I love this. I'm sorry, but this needs to be told. Do you have any recollection of sending a message of this sort? Again, I don't have a specific recollection of ever sending the text, but what I do see and what's produced here, and it is actually valid and verified, is that my dad was, what I think I'm saying is my dad was in town to visit my my daughter, who was at Columbia Law School at the time, continue. My uncle was also in town. I was going to lunch with Kevin Dong, and it was the chance that Mr. Yi, ultimate Chinese rich guy, may join us for a lunch. And I said, well, maybe we'll all stop by. That's exactly what I'm saying. Okay, but that never happened. Keep going, please, because the congressmen are like, are you kidding me? When you're indicating that your dad was possibly going to stop by and you put brother in all caps, yeah, referring to, again, I just want to be clear. Would there be something wrong if my dad was in New York when he was out of office and he wasn't a candidate for office, and I didn't think he would ever be a candidate for office again, and he was in New York to visit my daughter, okay, and I was going to lunch with some of my business associates, if I told he and my uncle to stop by and have a bite to eat, I don't understand how this rises to the level of the supposed inquiry we're in right now. What's the issue? I mean, keep going, please. Now, what's the issue if he's out of office? I do see an issue if there is. Look, it goes on with it like this. And the congressman said, one of them, I think it was Jim Jordan, said, my father's a biophysicist. He's never come from one of my work lunches. It doesn't work that way. And we all remember when Joe Biden ran around the campaign trail denying that he ever talked about business with his son. Ever. You can't have lunch with the chairman and not talk business, right? This is politically devastating for Joe. It just proves once again that he's a liar. I knew that all the way back in 1987. You probably did as well. But this is damning stuff. And we can't just let it go. You know, Donald Trump, they impeached him for merely asking questions about Hunter and what he was doing in Ukraine. Merely saying, somebody should look into that, and somebody should. And now that they are, somebody should be reporting it. And I am. I'll be right back.